So pause the video and answer your questions, preferably recording them. All right. So, my first question: where is there a good supermarket in town? Answer: there is a good supermarket near my house, for example. Question number two: tell us something you could say you have a stack of. Answer: Mm, I have a stack of these notebooks, without lines. I really like them. Question: where do we usually find vending machines? Answer: we can find vending machines at shopping malls, hospitals, supermarkets sometimes. Question: am I a student or an employee at CCA? Answer: you are, because you're talking about me, an employee at CCA. Question: tell us about a person you think is a health nut. Answer: well, one of my students is a health nut. She worries about her diet a lot. She just eats fruits and vegetables, things like that. Question: do you think it's rude to tease people? Answer: no, I don't. If the person is your friend, then it's just good fun. Question: when do you generally tell your sister or brother to leave you alone? Answer: I tell my brother or my sister to leave me alone when they are teasing me, or when I'm concentrating and they want to, I don't know, to talk to me. Question: do you like to go out alone? Answer: yes, I do. Why? Because I like the silence. All right. Okay. Now I'm gonna answer the same questions again, but let's scale up the level a little bit. All right. I'm gonna answer the questions. You can try again, but now with more, let's say, sincerious answers and more complex answers. Let's imagine, the conversation flowing, not only the exercise flowing. Number one: where is there a good supermarket in town? Well, I think there are many good supermarkets around here and in town, but I especially like Condor, close to my house, because it's like 5 minutes from my house. But if I have to do the shopping, like the grocery, then I prefer one of those wholesale supermarkets, those supermarkets that sell products in big quantities. Why? Because I have a big family and I have to buy a lot of food, all right? So I prefer like Mufato Max, something like that. Question: tell us something you could say you have a stack of. Well, um, I would say at first that I have a stack of books, but I don't have just one stack of books. I have many stacks of books, right? So that's why I talked about my notebook. But I have a stack of books by Machado de Assis. I have a stack of books by Thomas Mann, for example, right? Next question: where do we usually find vending machines? Well, first of all, I don't think vending machines are very common here in Brazil, right? I think in other countries they are much more common. Mainly in Japan, we hear those crazy stories about Japan, right? Apparently, in Japan, you can buy anything. You can buy even sushi in vending machines, right? So, for example, tea vending machines. You go there, there's several kinds of teas you can choose from, and then you go there and the tea is ready. If I'm not wrong, you can even buy soup from vending machines in Japan. Here in Brazil, I remember seeing vending machines like in the hospital, supermarket. I said in my answer just to simplify the thing, but I don't think I have seen many vending machines around here. Next question, and am I a student or employee at CCA? I think there's no way we can make this question more complex, right? The answer is, of course, I am an employee. Just as we're talking here and trying to be a little bit more advanced, keep in mind that employee, I am the employee. My boss or CCA is my employer, all right? Employer, employee. Question. Tell us about a person you think is a health nut. So I told you about my student. I think sometimes she exaggerates. I really think I have answered in some of the videos here that fat is not a problem. I think the problem is sugar. So, but this student is a health nut. Sometimes she exaggerates. I think in one of the answers before, I told you about a student that I think was very healthy. It's a different person, right? Because there's this person who eats very well and eats a lot of meat, and I think that's extremely healthy. And there is this other one that I consider a health nut, like crazy, because she over concerns herself with those things. Do you think it's rude to tease people? Is the next question. Well, it depends a lot on the person. It depends a lot on the mood of the person. I think the point is when you tease a person, you can feel, mainly if the person is a person close to you, a friend or something like that, you can feel the person is able to take the joke. Take the joke means to, you're gonna make fun of her and she's gonna laugh and she won't be hurt, right? Now when you tease the person too much or when the person is not in the mood, then of course I don't think it's cool to tease the person. Of course there are exceptions. For example, sometimes I have some teenage students who never behave in class. They are a pain in the neck, and then I like to tease them even if they are not feeling so well. Why? Because they like to tease everybody. They like to disturb the class. So they deserve, I guess. Next one. When do you generally tell your brothers to leave you alone? Well, first of all, I never tell my brothers nowadays to leave me alone because they are adults, right? So when my brothers come to my house, of course, I welcome them very well. But when I was, let's say, 15 years old, I would tell them to leave me alone when I was in my room trying to read or trying to study or trying to do certain things, and they didn't want to let me. Or I told them to leave me alone, for example, when they started teasing me. I remember there was a girl on our street that I really liked, and then one of my brothers started teasing me a lot about this girl, and then I told him to leave me alone. Next question. When do you generally tell your... Oh, I've already answered that one. The last question. Do you like to go out alone? Why or not? Or why not? Of course, that depends a lot. I remember when I was younger, I used to walk the streets just for fun. Just, to put my thoughts in order. And I still do nowadays. So I like when I am at work and then I go to the grocery store or even on the bus. I like that moment where I can think. But of course, I like to go out with my family. Of course, I like to go out with my kids, depending on the place, like a park or something like that. And I love to go out with my wife as well. So I guess my answer would be it depends on the person, it depends on the situation, it depends on the location, right?